Midas is going to bring Volcano in Chapter 5 Season 2 because cracks are starting to show up on the map. A Midas Volcano LTM is being worked on right now, and this has all been Midas's plan, and there might be a huge live event in Chapter 5 Season 2. And this isn't the first time we are seeing this. The very first time we got a pre-event build-up was all the way back in Chapter 1. Please leave a like, subscribe, and use code SMJM. In Chapter 1, Season 3, at the end of the season, we saw a random, weird-looking star up in the sky. And the reason why this star was weird was because it kept growing every day. It got so big at a certain point, everyone were convinced that this wasn't your normal star. This was, in fact, a meteoroid. That's right, a meteoroid was heading straight towards the Fortnite island. Just before the end of Season 3, we start to get a meteoroid shower. Randomly, in the middle of the game, during a build fight, you would just see a meteoroid rock go right through your build, not just destroying your build, but also damaging players as well. And finally, when we got to Chapter 1, Season 4, the main giant meteoroid crashed onto the Fortnite island. And later, we found out that this was actually a chunk of Ice Moon where the 7 are based. The visitor was inside of that meteoroid, and he was the one who started our next build up to our next huge live event, the rocket near Snobby Shore. The rocket kept getting bigger and bigger, and when we had the live event, the rocket tore a giant rift in the sky. This was the very first time we got a rift in Fortnite, and for the rest of Chapter 1 Season 4, this rift kept getting bigger, and it slowly built up until Chapter 1 Season 5, and through that rift we got different people and places from different realities come to Fortnite. And also, this was the season when we had possibly one of the biggest build-up, not just to a brand new season, but also storyline of Fortnite. That is right, this was the season we've got a purple lightning bolt literally out of the blue, which created this purple cube named Kevin. This purple cube rolled around the Fortnite map, corrupting everything, and towards the end of Season 5, the cube melted into the loot lake. And this was the end of this live event build-up. And when we reached Chapter 1 Season 6, the middle of the island separated from the lake and became an island that we still have to this day, the floating island. And the same floating island in Season 6 was our build-up to our next big event, because the island went around the map corrupting everything until we were saved by the 0 point during the butterfly event. At the same time all this was happening, there was another build-up going on the map that a lot of people didn't notice, which would lead us to our next big event. If you went to Flush Factory and looked over the horizon, you would see a mysterious smoky mist heading towards the island. It was getting bigger and bigger as it approached the Fortnite island, and when Season 7 was here, we find out that the mist was covering an entire glacier. Glacier crashed onto the island, bringing locations like the Polar Peak. And at the end of Season 7, our build-up happened when the Ice King trapped himself inside of this ice orb just over the Polar Peak. And just before Season 8, we got this huge live event. The whole island was covered in snow. This was also the season where we got Earthquake in Fortnite for the first time. And this Earthquake was our build-up for our next season, because in Season 8, it turns out the Earthquake was caused by this mysterious volcano that appeared on the map. And this volcano was our build-up for this season up until the end of the season when it erupted. The eruption damaged 2 of the main locations in Fortnite, Retail Row and Tilted Towers, but there was a third eruption that hit the bottom of Polar Peak, and at the time the third eruption was just a random eruption, but this was the most important one, because in Season 9 the third eruption eruption melted the polar peak ice and let the Galactus monster escape. And this Galactus monster was a build-up to our next live event, because this monster kept appearing around the Fortnite island. And at the end of Season 9 live event, the Galactus monster surfaced and tried to destroy the map. Luckily, the mech saved us all, but before he flew away into the sky, it exposed the 0 point, setting us up for the finale of this chapter, Season 10. The entire Season 10 was a huge build-up to this huge live event that took place at the end of the season, and obviously that live event took us to Chapter 2. In Chapter 2, Season 1, golden objects started to appear on the map. This was our introduction to one of the biggest character in Fortnite, Midas. That's right, Midas showed up on the map in Chapter 2. And Chapter 2's massive build-up was this huge device that was being built in the middle of the map. And obviously, that device turned out to be the Doomsday device, which was used during the Doomsday event. Midas stopped the storm from closing in because he wanted to break the loop, but Agent Jones replaced the storm with a giant tsunami. And this tsunami was probably one of the biggest build-up to a new season that we've ever had in Fortnite. That's right, all the way from the end of the Doomsday device up until the start of Season 3, Storm was replaced by the tsunami. And when Chapter 2 Season 3 was here, the tsunami actually flooded the entire map. And as the water level kept decreasing on the map, we start to see this mysterious marking on the ground. And this kept building up until the point when randomly we get Captain America. And we kept getting these markings up until Chapter 2 Season 4, which was probably one of the biggest seasons we've ever had, because this was the Marvel season. Those markings was created by Thor when he summoned the Avengers to save Fortnite from the giant Galactus. Galactus was just a purple star in the sky at first, but the star kept getting bigger and bigger, and as it got really close, we started to see Galactus appear in the sky. And Galactus kept getting bigger up until the Galactus Nexus event. With the help of the Avengers, we defeated Galactus, but in the process of defeating Galactus, the 0 point was yet again exposed, and this was our build-up for our next season, Season 5. Because the 0 point was exposed, people were using it to escape the Fortnite loop, so Agent Jones went into different realities and gathered hunters. And the arrival of these famous hunters like Mandalorian, Street Fighter, the Alien was actually a build-up to the live event. Because at the end of Season 5, there was a huge event where Agent Jones tried to save the 0 point. This was the event when the Foundation sealed the 0 point with the Spire, taking us to Season 6, the Primal. At the end of the Primal season, we start to see people getting abducted and crop markings. Slowly, the rumor of UFO started becoming a reality, especially when we saw a giant mothership appear on the Fortnite island, taking us to Season 7. Season 7, after the mothership got destroyed because of Dr. Sloan, bunch of cubes landed on the Fortnite island, and they were our next build-up to the finale of Chapter 2. Because all of the cubes came together, creating this pyramid. Just above the pyramid, we see the person who was controlling the cubes, the Cube Queen. Cube Queen slowly starts to get more powerful as we approached the live event, which was also the finale of this season. 7 had to sacrifice the map to save the island by flipping it. And when we got to Chapter 3, we start to get another earthquakes. These mysterious and random earthquakes kept happening up until the end of season 1 of chapter 3. And it turns out this was the arrival of the Imagine Order on the chapter 3 map. The whole of chapter 3 season 2 was a war between the 7 and the Imagine Order. The Imagine Order built a huge collider at the center of the map. And the build up for our next event happened in the lobby where we saw the robot being built on this mysterious location that looks like the moon. Turns out this was the ice moon and the robot was being rebuilt by the 7. This led us to the collision event where the 7 destroyed the Imagine Order. And in chapter 3 season 3 we got mysterious vines kept taking over different locations. Turns out this was Harold, and in season 4 chapter 3 Harold kidnapped all of the members of the 7 except for Paradigm. Slowly throughout the season Chrome kept taking over the island. When we reached the finale of chapter 3 the entire island was destroyed by Harold. This took us to chapter 4, and in chapter 4 our very first build up happened when we start to get another earthquake. And it turns out that this was created by this mysterious location under the map where ruins of mysterious temples, and on top of the temple there was a device. We find out Dr. Sloan was hidden under the map and this device was being rebuilt by Sloan. This apparatus was our build up to our next season because we start to see this mysterious moon getting closer to the island. Turns out this was a Cato Thorn, and in chapter 4 season 4 we see the time machine kept changing its time until it took us to the Fortnite OG. And the whole of Fortnite OG was a build up to our next chapter because every week we got a brand new season of chapter 1 until the main live event which took us to chapter 5. Now we are here on chapter 5 and yet again we are starting to get earthquakes. Cracks are starting to show up on the map as well. Also the fact that there's so many Easter eggs about Midas and his friends, and in the file there is an LTM that's coming up titled Midas brings floor is lava. Lots of people are suggesting that these earthquakes and these cracks will reveal a volcano on the map. Now this is my theory. Let me know down below what is your theory, and also don't forget to leave a like, subscribe and use code SMJM if you're excited for chapter 5 season 2.